Hello, my YouTube friends. Thanks for joining in tonight. Man, if you haven't hit that subscribe button right down there and slam that bell, please do now because we got a lot of great things going on. Man, I get so pumped up, man. Tonight, we're going to be talking about the M-49 Classic microphone. Oh, I get to talk about microphones tonight, man. I'm in heaven. I'm in heaven, man. The classic M-49 microphone. There's a lot of clones out there coming out, man. In fact, we have a friend of mine coming in tonight at some point. We'll be calling in a few minutes, and we're going to be talking about the M49 clone that he knows about. Super, super knowledgeable, Dennis. But I wanted to let you guys in on know a few of artists out there who actually sang through the M49, just to name a few: Miles Davis, Barbara Streisand, and we're talking classic hits, you guys. Simon and Garfunkel, okay. Nora Jones, she actually sang through the classic vintage M49 microphone. This microphone, man, I want to say the original 49s had the M7 capsule in it, dual capsule. This was switched over for the K-49 capsule in 1960. So they switched that capsule over, which is identical to the K-47 in the U-47 microphone. The original tube was the Hitler tube. They called it the Hitler tube, but it was the MSC2 tube. And in 1960, this was also switched over to the AC-71K tube that went in that puppy. But man, this microphone, dude, is just, I mean, absolutely stunning. If you've never seen the M47 49 microphone, it is just absolutely stunning, man. It reminds me of, I don't know, it's really kind of short and fat. I've never worked with one, but Dennis, he's worked with several in his time, and he actually was Mick Guzowski's assistant. So they got to play with a lot of different microphones in the studio. And man, that is one microphone that I would love to actually get to play with, man. But I was looking at some of the vintage M40 49s, and man, they range anywhere from 7,000 all the way up to nearly $20,000 for one of these microphones. And just stunning, man. I want to say I actually seen some old footage, or not footage, but film of photos of Doris Day actually singing through the one of these microphones. And wow, they're just really, really cool. Here is a let's see if I got a picture on my phone of one of the older ones. Okay, all you guys seen the thumbnail that I posted, right? Okay, this was the thumbnail that I posted of the classic 49, the M49. But this is what it looks like on the shock mount here. Let's see if I can get it in there for you guys. There it is on the that beautiful shock mount. Wow, look at that thing. And those rubber grommet things around it. Don't that look super cool, man? Wow. What a stunning microphone, right? Ah, I'm drooling, y'all. I'm actually drooling. Here it is, another shot of it. If I can get that in there. As you can see, the cable isn't hooked up to it. But what a beauty. I mean, you're going to have to spend nearly 20 grand, possibly, unless you know somebody, right? To get one of these microphones. Now, these microphones had tubes in them, man, and they were just, now also I wanted to say that Flea makes one, okay? Flea is making a clone, and you're going to spend $3,800 or close to $4,000 for their clone. I've uh I've heard good things about them. I actually owned the Flea 47, and got to play around with that thing for some time. And so they're making some great clones out there. It's just whether you want to, and I want to say Fleas is point to point, and it seemed like they're really doing some really good stuff with their microphones. But I'm hoping Dennis will give me a call sometime here soon, man. And because I know he was going to call in and talk about some different clones that are available out there. Um, but yeah, man, these microphones are just stunning, stunning microphones, man. I mean, look at this baby, the classic M-49. Here's one without the writing on it. Check it out, y'all. Just a fat boy, you know. Look at that mic. Oh my gosh, don't you want to just get up there and sing in that baby? Mm, man, I get pumped up when I think of this microphone and think of all the classic songs that were recorded on this microphone. Now they're used still a lot in orchestra and whatnot. Um, they're just hard to find, those vintage ones. Look, here's another one. They started making them in 1952, and then they stopped making them in 1974. So you couldn't get them after 1974. They just, I mean, as far as them rolling off the shelf. But I want to say they actually started working on them or building them in 49, and that's how it got its name. But it wasn't released until either 51 or 52. Yeah, 52. So 1952, right? And then they stopped making them in 74. So what a neat microphone that is, man. Out of all the microphones out there, man, the M-49's always been one of my like dream microphones. And then, of course, you know, the Neumann U-47, the original one, has always been another dream microphone to have in the studio. But yeah, man, there's just so many great classic microphones. What's so neat is nowadays we have these clones that are super, super quiet that pretty much are the skeleton and everything else of the originals, you know, the schematics and all that. The only thing that's probably changed in some of these is either the tubes or even, you know, where the capsules were made or being made. Um, but yeah, man, I keep, it seems like I looked at an older video or something on the M-49 and and it actually showed the inside of the M-49 with the Telefunken tube in it. So it had a Telefunken in there. And but wow. Wow, wow, wow. These microphones, if you love mics, man, you love those old vintage microphones, man. They're just they're so nostalgic in their own right, you know? They're just so nostalgic in their own right, but it's hard to believe that to get a nice one, these vintage mics, whether it's a U-47, an old Neumann U-47 with the original tube in it, or the M-49 with original tube in it that's still in excellent condition, that you're gonna spend nearly $20,000 for a microphone. Mm. So with that in mind, with these clones coming out, it's another option. It seems like I seen a video out not too long ago where a guy had a Telefunken U-47, a new one, had a Flea U-47 and a few more, and they did an A/B test between all the two. Now, of course, all the microphones sounded great, they said, but you could definitely tell the difference in the original uh, Neumann U-47 compared to all the other ones. Slightly difference, but that could have been due to age too. You know, those capacitors get old, the tubes get old, everything gets old, and as they age, they kind of have their own unique sound to them. So these older microphones, as they age, they will have their own unique sound. So comparing it up to a clone as of today, one that's made today, they're gonna sound a little different, you know. Um, but all in all, I'm sure that they're really, really making some great clones out there, and it'd be interesting to actually hear the M-49 clone microphone. I just want to put my hands on them, man. I just want to put my hands on them. I love those old vintage microphones, and they're just so heavy. And when you're holding one, it's like looking at a classic car or something, just really made to last. And actually, when you pull the new ones open or the vintage ones open, and you see everything point to point, and you see just how they're made and put together, man, man, oh man, oh man, made to last, made to last a lifetime, But some of those old vintage microphones have to be recapped. The leaky capacitors happened and things like that, and so they do have to be recapped. But as far as lasting the test of time, they really made those mics to last forever. Of course, you pay for them. You know, but I don't know. It'd be interesting to do. It'd be interesting to have an old vintage one that's really really in great condition and compare it to a newer clone. I want to say my friend Dennis was telling me about one that Mike Mod has one that they just come out. Uh, a clone to the M-49. So it'd be interesting if he calls in. When he calls in, I'd love to hear about it. Dennis, if you're out there, man, give me a call, dude. If you're watching this video, we want to hear from you, man. I want to hear from you, dude. Anyway, yeah, these look at there, Dennis. Man, your ears are burning, buddy. Dennis,
Randy,
what's going on?
I heard your call. How is everybody?
Everybody is great, man. We're
Good.
doing.
Yeah, no, I was going through the internet tonight. I saw the Instagram page from these guys at Mike and On,
Oh,
and they mentioned that they plan on releasing a kit for the M49, so a clone of it, and that's a really nice um, uh, kit to have, I think, because I don't think really any other brands offer anything like it.
wow.
So that should be a really nice one, and their prices are still very nice.
Yeah, yeah. Did you look and get the price on that? What they were actually wanting for that for the
Since I saw
kit?
that, I actually didn't go on their webpage, but I mean nothing. None of their mics go above eight 8.99, but that's in euro. So that's, I think at the exchange rate, it's just around a grand.
Okay.
But I imagine it's going to be around that price. But other than that, the only other companies that have, I guess, convincing clones of that is Peluso. He's
Right.
got really good versions of those.
Right.
Um,
I've heard about those microphones. I've never sang through one or held one of those mics.
no, those are a really good value, especially if you don't want to, you want that quality, but you don't want to really risk spending, 10 times what these cost for something that's going to, cost more than your house.
I want right. Exactly. Hey man, I was wondering if it comes out with the M7 capsule or the K47 capsule, which what capsule they're going to
I'm not
offer.
sure. Again, I haven't seen any specs from these guys, but I know that Peluso has all the M capsules,
Oh wow.
and he makes his own capsules also.
Wow.
So it's all made in the states. I'm not. I know his background is quite extensive in terms of repairs and microphone service. I don't know him personally, but I know plenty of people that can vouch for him.
Yeah. Wow. Wow, yeah, that microphone is just stunning, man. After we had talked earlier today, man, I was actually looking through and trying to find some information on that
Mm-hmm.
M49, and I found some, and I just started reading a little bit about it, man. And wow, just to think of all the artists that just love singing through that baby.
Yeah.
Oh
But
man,
then it also becomes the combination of the mic and the room and material and
right.
the person singing, because if you're gonna have somebody that has a speech impediment and you're gonna give them an M49, I'm sorry, my friend, you better play that trumpet really well. you know,
Right.
but it's not going to work for you.
Right.
That said, my interest in getting a kit is just mostly, I'm not just saving money, but I like having the opportunity to build stuff like that. If it sounds good, all the better,
Yeah.
more power to me.
Yeah.
And it's in terms of a tool that I use, it's not really that different from having anything that much more expensive. It just, I have to tighten my notch on my belt a little more, just because it might be not exactly what a Neumann might do, but I'm sure it's right in the neighborhood.
Oh yeah. I bet it is, man.
Yeah, it's just like when you use one of the cheaper or more affordable MXL type mics. They sound good, but when you compare it to something that's comparable of a better brand, you start noticing that it's really noisy in the low end. The high end is just really tinny, and again really noisy. The top end's really noisy. You can't really. So it's just not very convenient in terms of it's limited in terms of its use. It sounds good. It's a tube mic and all these things, but it's limited if you don't put it really close to something.
Yeah. Yeah.
When you use something like a very high-end Neumann, the first thing you notice when you bring it up is you hear everything absolutely clear. It's like you're in the room. You hear the air, you hear the walls, you hear the ceiling, and it's not in a bad way either.
Right. Right. Yeah, I've had that Flea 47, man, and it was interesting, man. And I hear they're doing some good stuff too. I mean, as far as
Fleas are excellent. If you see some of their test videos on YouTube, the guy that does the demo, he's an okay singer or whatever, sounds like Sinatra type.
right.
It has that quality.
Yeah. Yeah.
When he sings and you compare it to, go back to listen to some Sinatra in the old days when he's using those mics, it has that very vintage quality to it.
That sound. Yeah.
And that's the best thing to bring out of a mic.
You know what? I need to, or at some point tonight, I'm curious, and now that you got me curious about that clone, okay, I'm curious to know what kind of tube they're going to use too to give you, as far as to put in there. And
Well,
I mean,
for the mic and mod,
yeah,
that's true.
you know,
I'm not sure. I imagine I guess I'll check the website.
to see if
See if they have even listed, because they just listed on Instagram.
wow.
Let me see.
And does it, if you're looking at that, Dennis, look and see if they've got a little area where the bulb or whatever shines through to indicate that it's on. I don't know if that's for
Well,
the
let's see. The 87 wouldn't have it, because the 67 also wouldn't have it.
Mhm.
I guess the 47 would have it maybe in the power supply.
Yeah.
It has basically, I can see it has an indicator, power light, kind of like a Fender amp
Right.
style.
Right. Wow.
That's the 47, and then the C12. They're not listing the M-49 yet. Yeah, see, the C12 has a very similar power supply, and it also has that little red indicator.
Right. Nice. Yeah, man. Who knows? They may put the M7 or capsule in there. Who knows?
Mm-hmm.
But I don't. I'm sure.
But actually, let me see what the C12 has in it. What are the specs of this thing?
I know. I know. I just. You know what? I know it's got to sound good, man.
Their C12 clone has a 6072 dual triode glass tube.
Okay. Wow.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it looks good. I mean, it looks much better than the other kits that you see out there.
Yeah.
In terms of even the looks of the mic itself, at least it's gray and the head looks legit. I mean, it doesn't. The problem with a lot of the other mics, a lot of the other clones, is exactly that. It's just they just don't look the part.
Right.
And if I'm gonna spend at least any little amount of money,
Right.
I'm sorry. You know what I mean?
Right.
At least look right.
Right. Exactly. But everything looks good. I mean, it looks pretty
Yeah, and
identical.
they have decent components. I'm sure they're probably cutting costs in terms of the connect. The first, obviously the labor, because you're doing it yourself. It's not. I'm not a German technician with 50 years experience
Right.
named Gunther, and
Right.
I do the best I can. I'm pretty good at putting things together, but again, I don't have 50 years of experience.
Right. Right. Right.
But that said, what else? They're probably cutting costs and probably the machining of the parts themselves. Neumann doesn't get their parts made in China. At least didn't for many years.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm pretty sure probably the transformer is probably a decent quality, but not top notch.
Mm-hmm.
But probably not too bad considering, at least with the C12. Let's see, the C12 you're paying. What are they claiming on this thing?
That's C12. Yeah, that's C.
Yeah, their C12. Yeah, it's not as bad as I thought. They listed for €599,
Oh, wow.
and that's roughly, I don't know, I think after taxes like $700.
Wow. That's really cheap, man. I wonder how
Yeah,
long.
for a C12, that sounds like your average, pretty decent newer C12.
Mm-hmm. That's still really good.
I would say these sound like your over the counter AKGs. If you went down and you ordered from B&H and you ordered the C12 VR, whatever they got,
Mm-hmm.
it probably sounds like these.
Wow. Wow.
And you're saving yourself a good $700 or so.
Right.
And you learn quite a bit by doing it yourself.
I bet, man. I bet. Is that a is that a does that look like something that can be done in 3 days or something like that?
Well,
Actually.
if you have experience putting stuff together like that, then the soldering is really not that difficult if you have somewhat of if you've done more than wiring an XLR. Wiring discrete electronic components to a PCB requires special attention to everything, because you're playing with heat, you're playing with electricity, and some components are delicate and they can either melt down, or because of the amount of heat and time that you expose them to it, you can just basically also ruin the part. It loses what it does. It loses the ability to do what it does. If you put too much heat in a couple of terminals of an IC, you fried it.
Wow.
Things like that.
Right.
But that said, there's plenty of people that offer to do this. I think even the website offers you the option of having it built by them. Obviously by giving them a little bit more money,
Mm-hmm.
or they used to. I don't know if they do that anymore.
Wow. That might be
But their instructions are pretty simple to follow. Again, but it's up to the user. If you don't think it's something that you can tackle on your own, I wouldn't recommend it.
right. Right. But boy, I tell you what, that sure is a beautiful microphone, isn't it, man? Oh gosh. Oh, those M-49s, man, U-47s.
And it feels nice to work on your own gear, update it a little bit. The only updating of microphones I've done is the mod on this old Rode NT2s.
Okay, right.
And I had bought one, and I find out that there are certain number of them that were much better than the later ones, and even better if you did a special mod on the off the diaphragm. And I just researched a little bit, and I found someone that made the RK47 diaphragm that their mod required. Really, that was really it. And replaced it, and it did sound better. It didn't sound like a Rode. It didn't sound like a Neumann, but it sounded much better than the Rode did.
Yeah, I bet so. I bet it did. What about that? Was it the high end that you noticed, or the mid range? What did you really notice?
The high end was more detailed.
Yeah.
It was in the Rode. It was still nicer than
Some of your.
I mean, how do you term? I mean, how do you? I'm trying to think as to the way that I describe the sound of the stock Rode.
Okay.
I guess it's, for lack of a better term, kind of like an 81, like an SM81.
Yeah.
Think of it. It's a decent condenser. It's detailed, but it's not like what you would throw on your best thing.
Right.
So it was okay. And after I did this mod, I was like, oh, okay. The first thing my instinct was to pull out my TLM 103 and compare it to it. And it wasn't that far off, but yeah, plenty on the top end. It was the Neumann top end. You just, it's not Neumann. It's not Neumann. You can feel that right away. But it was very close.
Yeah. Yeah. It probably
not in a bad way.
So it basically just opened it up.
And then it didn't. It was that it opened. It had top end, but before it was a lot more noise and a lot less usable signal. And then also the detail of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now with the new capsule, it just became a little bit clearer. You can crank the gain a little more, and it becomes less distorted. It's just has a lot more headroom, so it's nicer, a lot more pleasant. I actually got another one, another Rode, but I haven't been able to find the same capsule yet. I found a website. I'm still trying to decide if I should get the capsule.
Well,
I don't know yet.
Can that be something that, as long as it fits inside the grill, can that be something you go with just a bigger or different kind of capsule altogether, or what?
Well, it's just a matter that I wanted to see if the capsule on that website would be available a little bit cheaper. I didn't want to spend full price on it.
Right.
The one that I first found, they had in their, I think it was like their clearance section.
Okay.
And it was for half price, for like $80.
Yeah.
So that didn't seem like a huge expense. And it worked out, and the mic does sound good, and I don't mind using it. But then they have it in stock as a regular item, but it's like almost $200, and it's not, doesn't, I don't need a microphone that bad that I need to spend $200 right now, and I can't really afford it.
Right. I want to say,
I'm going to build a mic. I might try to build a mic all the way from the ground.
Yeah, no kidding. No kidding.
And it still works with a stock cap, so it's no big deal.
Right. I want to say it was microphoneparts.com that I went through, and actually I had an old MXL microphone. It's it's just 2 wires doing the capsule,
Yeah, most of their mods aren't very difficult. In fact, is that website where they list the mod for the Rode mic.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, and they have a few mods for AKG mics as well, like some of their affordable large diaphragm mics. I want to try one of them, but I just haven't gotten around to it, and I don't really need many more modified, cheaper mics.
Right.
I'd rather just kind of wait until I can get something nicer and go from there on.
Yeah. You showed me.
I got tons of condensers of this.
Yeah. You showed me that I don't know, what was it, the LA2A build or something similar to that, where you can get all the. I checked into that. I looked into that, man.
Oh yeah,
wow.
that was Vintage 5. A friend of mine shared that with me when I told him I was trying to get something built.
Oh my gosh.
That looks really cool, but they seem like they always update their website differently, and some stuff is available and then some stuff isn't. Kind of like these mic and mod guys.
Okay.
Which is, it's all basically a home business for all these guys, really.
Yeah. I guess it's when they what they can get, what they can get.
What they can get, when they can get it, and they put the kits together. It's not an easy task, man. Shit.
No, but didn't it look good? Didn't the chassis and everything?
They look great. No, that they're, they had an MEQ, a PEQ, and some kind of like a universal audio looking preamp.
Yeah.
And it look excellent.
It look good.
And when they have the LA2 and LA2.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah, it was showing the inside and all the parts and whatnot. I was like, dang, man, that's the real deal, man. Wow.
And I downloaded their build little PDF document, and it looked really easy to do.
Wow.
Even if you're semi clunky, but you can at least if you've done a relatively difficult Lego project in your lifetime, you might be able to build an LA2A.
Right.
Just ground yourself and know you can still kill yourself if you
wrong
the wrong wire.
Oh, no joke. No joke, man. Yeah, I mean, you don't want to mess with that stuff if you don't know anything about it. That's for sure, man.
Yeah, it's not a pedal. It's much different.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, man.
I've heard stories of people that go, they'll build a pedal that's semi easy to build, and then they'll go and build a guitar amp, and they'll fry something that's more than they initially bargained for.
Right. Yeah, that's something you don't want to play around with. But you know what? Wow. That build looked really interesting, man. I was looking at all the parts on the inside and just like the real deal, man. Just the real deal. The potentiometers look really great.
No, yeah, and I'm actually, I told you I'm really excited about those other kits from Maintenance Audio, I think it was, those English ones, the 500 series. Audio Maintenance is the brand.
Yeah.
Those look really good.
Wow.
Their Neve 1072. They had this straight preamp. They have the EQ part of it also. They have kind of like their version of the Neve style compressor, which is a dual, I guess if you want to call it dual panel sized 500 series.
Oh wow!
With a big meter on it.
Yeah, no kidding. Wow.
And they're not very expensive. Those are really, really, really nicely priced.
Wow.
The 1072 kit is, I think it's a couple £100.
Wow.
That's it.
Wow.
I mean, you still need to buy the build or buy the chassis for it, and it's an extra expense, but still, considering what it costs compared to going to a retailer and buying the same stuff, it's a huge chunk of savings, not considering, again, what you learn in the process.
Right. Exactly. How it's all put together and what's in line, what's next in line. Oh my gosh, man, I'm surprised, honestly. I mean, as much as you can dig in those things, unless there's like infringement rights. I don't know anything about that, but if there wasn't,
the thing is that a lot of those designs became public. What they call it? Not public knowledge. They're
domain. I mean, to where you can
become public domain after a certain amount of time, and then also it depends because Rupert Neve had ownership and he lost ownership of it, and then he gained it again, and then somebody else bought it, and he was then part of a company that built the same gear. So a lot of that stuff is kind of lost in the shuffle, so to speak. And so also the fact that a lot of these companies are doing exactly the same thing. And technically all you have to do is take, one trace and it's a different circuit.
Wow. Let's see. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm surprised more people hasn't started doing their own. Think about Warm Audio. That's a company right out of Austin, Texas, man. But
the thing with Warm Audio and the other company that we mentioned, which was Stam Audio, is that they're doing basically as close to perfect a copy of the original design as possible. So, but the problem is that one, again, like I said earlier, building a kit, the person building the kit is not the person that built the kit at where they built the original ones. It was a person that was trained with many, many, many years of experience doing that sort of thing.
Right.
When you open any one of these units, and you open one of the original ones, I'm pretty sure it'd be very easy to see.
Right. Oh, no kidding, man. No
That
kidding.
said, I'm sure you can, open a Pultec from 1952 and open a Pultec made by Warm Audio, and I'm afraid that the one from Warm Audio, I guarantee it's not going to be up and running in 2085.
I doubt it. I doubt it. And that's
And the one from 1952 would be.
exactly.
And
That's
it's just also because also the materials that were available, build quality and everything else. All the modern stuff, unfortunately, just on the notion of the quality of the materials themselves, it just doesn't hold up.
mm-hmm. Yeah, man. I mean,
the solder that things are allowed to use these days doesn't last as long as the solder that was allowed that was used back in the day.
mm-hmm.
And not even back in the day. It's just going back maybe 10 years. Is when there was resolutions on climate change and all that basically took lead and other toxins out of solder.
Right.
That made solder. It changed. It still conducts, but it doesn't last as long.
Right. Which means what? Cold solder joints and everything else. Right.
Yeah, that and things don't last as long. Things get thrown much sooner, and everything else that comes out of that.
Well, the way they look at it is just buy a new one.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, well, they just buy a new one.
It's just an indirect, I wouldn't call it a benefit, but it's just an indirect.
It's a shame that
comes out of it, yeah.
But I will say this: I have some Warm Audio gear, and I just, I bought it as just to see for myself.
No, and from what I hear, it does a great sound. It does a great thing.
It does, but here's the thing to that, and I opened it up. I'm like one of those guys that likes just, okay, what's in this thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I opened up the hoods to the 11. Well, it's just the WA-76, but it's supposed to be the Universal Audio 1176.
Sure.
And then, but I opened them both up, man. The LA2A, but it's a WA2A. I opened the hoods up to, but man, Dennis. They sound great, but how long is it going to last? I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, it's something that, if you've seen, it's like when you open an old TV set, the ones old I'm talking about when the remote controls didn't exist.
Mm-hmm.
Those were quality built.
Yeah.
The stuff these days just really doesn't look like it's going to be around.
When you said TV, man, I we used to have my uncle built us a Heathkit TV in the 70s.
Mm-hmm.
And he was, really, really very intelligent man that, went in the Navy and, graduated and did all that stuff many years in the Navy. But he built us a Heathkit TV, and I just remember that. I just remember that smell. I remember he came over one time to change something out in it or look at it or something, and he opened up the back of it, and I just remember sitting there as a kid,
Mm-hmm.
and that smell that it had, man.
Do you have any of your vintage gear now that has that smell when you open it?
Well, you know what smells like that? Is that those 642s, those microphones.
See what I mean?
It has that smell, and you're going,
It's probably there's probably some kind of a circuit board inside with a phenolic type of material, which is type of like Bakelite, and that has that smell.
It has that smell.
Mm-hmm. When I turned my Altec 1647A, 1657A, sorry, one of those blue line mixers, those old school things they did the Beatle concerts with.
Yeah. Wow.
When that thing is on for about 45 minutes, it starts smelling that way.
And doesn't it smell just yummy?
Oh, it's wonderful. I wish they made an air freshener of that.
I know, right? Oh my gosh, man! I don't, unless
they make everything else. I mean, I think there was one in the bathroom. I think there was one in the bathroom I saw yesterday that says like salt water and laundry. I was like, what? If they do that, why can't they do like old tube gear? Oh, tube gear and stale tobacco. No.
Yeah. Why not, man? I think it's hilarious.
Irish bar.
Yeah. I love it, man. But yeah, that smell, it's like, oh my gosh, you got something.
Guitar Center acoustic booth.
Yeah. I don't know, man. I just, I think about those. I can close my eyes tonight or whenever, and I close my eyes and I see the 47 and I see the 48 and I see the 49. And it's like, oh
Mm-hmm.
my gosh, man. And I know we've got these clones that you can, but um, it would be nice, Dennis. It would be really, really, really nice to have the complete everything just,
Mm-hmm.
I'm talking everything, the same metals, the same everything, to where when you put it together, or you had someone who knew how to put it together, you actually had a clone, a real clone that was truly like, oh my gosh, am I looking at the vintage one, or
Mm-hmm.
am I holding the clone? Am I listening to the vintage one, or
Yeah.
what? Hmm.
Well,
I-
in many cases, a lot of the comparisons aren't exactly one to one, but with a minor tweaking, sometimes gain and a little bit of EQing or moving, it
mhm.
doesn't really sound that much off.
Right.
And then that's when you really understand about what it is to really, it's how you use the tool.
Right.
And yeah, obviously the fact that some tools will cost you a lot more.
Hmm.
It's why some cameras are astronomically expensive and some other ones are not.
Right. Right. Well, but I tell you what, man, when you look at those, or when you open up that old gear, or when you just hold that old gear in your hand, man, there's just something about it. Not only the smell
Mm-hmm.
that we were, but just, I don't know. It's like you're holding something that's got some meat to it. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah. I mean, I'm looking at again that stuff here that was built long before I was born, and it still works just fine.
Hmm. Yeah. Oh my gosh, man. I know, man. It's like, I don't know, are we ever gonna get back to being able to have some I don't know. Are they ever gonna mimic something so close to where you really think that you're actually got the real deal? I mean, without having to spend
Well,
30,000.
I think at the higher resolutions, it's really sounding very close.
Mhm.
Because I mean, it's been that way for a long time. The higher resolution, the better it gets. Obviously, if you get very good room and very good mics, and you put them into a really nice preamp, and you use very good conversion, and then going into um, extremely high resolution recording, it's going to be very difficult if you don't have a real world reference to know the difference.
Mhm.
I
Right.
mean, I heard it in, I'm going to say 2004, around that time, when basically when Pro Tools was able to go to, I think it was like 300 and what was it? I forget the resolution. It was 300 and something. That we heard a jazz project, and it was Bob Ludwig that said, "I can't hear the difference."
Oh, wow.
Yeah, but it was like a 300 something ridiculous amount of. Hold on, I forget
Well,
the sample rate.
if he couldn't hear the difference, then I doubt there is no difference. What, as far as the recording sample rate, or what? What were you talking about? The
Yeah,
sample?
the
Yeah.
sample rate.
Yeah, right. When it gets so high that it's so
Yeah,
close to.
it was at 384,
Oh, wow. Wow.
384 hertz.
Oh, wow.
Megahertz, sorry,
Wow.
kilohertz.
Kilohertz, yeah.
384K. That's right.
Wow.
And first, it takes a lot of room in a hard drive.
Yes.
If you ever done even a 96K recording, you know how much
Oh, it sucks it up.
that even a 30-second spot, it takes a ton of room.
Yes.
So be prepared to have a lot or a big farm of drives
Exactly.
waiting for all that information to come in.
Yeah, or to dump it off on a external hard drive or something, and then work with it. But
well, it has to be something that can take audio that quickly in.
right. I was wondering if have you heard anything about oh gosh, what was I going to say? Okay, let's see. Oh yeah. Oh, did you see that video by AEA? They actually put out a video. There's this trumpet player, dude. I'm gonna send you the link if you can't find it, but you can go to their website AEA, and there's this trumpet player that's playing. It looks like he's playing in a daggum one of those parking garages, and he's actually playing through the R84. Check out that video. Check out that video, and tell me if you like that sound. Please tell me if you like that sound, because oh my gosh.
Is it on YouTube?
It is.
Does AA have a AEA microphone?
They have a website that you can go to, and on that website there is a trumpet player, and he's actually doing. Let's see if I can find it. He's actually doing.
Oh, here I found their YouTube thing. Hold on, let me find it.
He's actually has several videos. One where he's in like a little nightclub, like a cabaret thing. But that's not the one I want you to hear. The one I want you to hear, Dennis. Huh?
He's in the parking lot?
He's in like a parking garage, like you go up and you keep going up and you can park like, in the parking garage in the city somewhere or whatnot.
I'm looking through their videos.
Let's see if I can find. But dude, Dennis.
He's a sax guy?
No, a trumpet.
Oh, a trumpet guy.
Yeah. You gotta hear that. You gotta hear this take, man. Oh my god! You know what?
One of the guys sing. I actually know one of the guys doing their singing demos.
No, not that one.
No, I know the guy doing the second demo.
Really? The guy that's on
the dude with the funny cap.
Really?
In the white shirt.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's shit. What's his name? I forget. I recorded a few songs with him. He plays keyboards too.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Well, there's another.
He was in the Voice for a little bit, or American Idol, one of those shows.
Oh wow.
He was one of those token guys they hired really good musicians to make it look like the competition's really good.
Really?
Oh yeah, you never heard that from me.
No, I never heard that. What'd you say? Wow, dude. Yeah, I know.
Another video where he's in. I recorded with him and one of his bands. He's really talented. That his instrument is keyboards, like the Rhodes and stuff. He's really good.
Oh wow. Huh. Well, there's another video too where another guy, he's like in a, I don't know, in a
guy playing marimba in like it looks like a garage, but that's not a trumpet.
No, this is a trumpet.
I see a guy with a trumpet and like an open space. Great, Gabriel Johnson.
Yes, that's him.
All right, let's see.
Yes.
It's for that sort of thing. If he's going for that solo, like.
Yeah, man. Listen to it.
Yeah, I can drink a lot of scotch for this.
Oh, am I in New Orleans or what? Do I hear that down the street? Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it reminds me of like the rehearsal space when I lived in Savannah, Georgia.
Oh, listen to some of these notes and trills.
Yeah, we should move back a little bit because you can hear the mouthing of it.
I know.
A little bit too much.
I know. But listen to this. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I wish the person doing the demo had told them where to stand.
Mm-hmm. He's a little too close, isn't he?
Well, the thing is that it's a horn, and
Mm-hmm.
you're blowing into a
Ribbon
mic.
microphone, right?
Yeah, that's not the right way to do it. So every once in a while, he has a couple of dynamic peaks that you can actually hear. I mean, in my monitors, it's easy to hear.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't sound bad. They try to limit it a little bit, but you can still notice.
Mm-hmm.
And again, yeah, it's a ribbon mic. You don't blow right into it.
Exactly. It would have been.
Horn.
I don't know why they did that.
I would have put probably one of those diffuser screens on it.
In front of it or something, yeah.
Unless they, again, not being familiar with their specs, they might have some kind of diffuser thing in the front.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. The Royers do. That's why they have that big metallic thing through them.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But AEA being, apparently more, they tend to stick closer to the, old RCA mics. I'm not sure if they're more fragile or not, but it sounds like he was kind of
a little too close.
Right, a little too close in some spots. It was just too much.
Mm-hmm.
I would have kind of split the difference and split them out, but the room sounded wonderful,
didn't it? That's what I was going. That's that's what I wanted you to hear, man. Oh my gosh!
I mean, a room, a third of that would sound excellent, just as an effect vault.
Right.
Throw a speaker in there and a couple of mics. You have yourself an effect machine.
Well, did you notice? I think there was two. I think there was two mics in there. There was one close to him, and then if you look,
I did notice some kind of a stand there.
Okay, well, there's another mic on it, whether it's an R84 or a 44, I don't know, but
let me see. I wasn't paying attention to that. See, I'd say before when they were kind of seeing the thing from farther away.
It seems like I seen the same video where they showed another mic.
Well, it's probably at the top level of their studio, though it looks like pretty much any other shooting stage in the city.
Oh, but dude, that sound though, just that the room, the way it's all that cement, the way that sounded in there, man. Oh my gosh, man, what the heck?
There's pretty much all the studios on the Lower East Side of Manhattan, in the Chelsea district, where all these old meat butcher warehouses were, became all the different places where they shoot commercials and stuff, and that's where they do these. And they all have that sound. I've done tons of events on them, and to do a live event, they suck, but I always like the way that they sound themselves.
Right.
Empty. They sound all like that. It's great.
Oh wow.
They're all just painted really bright with shiny paint, and they have that reflective
sound
quality, especially since they're all built out of cement.
Wow. That'd be cool to do some reamping stuff, right? Where you're in one part of the garage.
If you think about it, and you have the know-how and the space, it's not difficult to build a reverb chamber.
Right.
At the end of the day, it's you build a trough, make it, I don't know, 50 feet if you can afford to make something like that long. Put a speaker on one end and just kind of move your speakers around, or make a little cart or something to move them around.
Right.
And that's all you need. You just have to paint it with something really shiny on the inside, so that sound just kind of goes all over the place.
That natural.
Coat it with some kind of one of those basement sealer deals, and you're good to go. Or build a water tower. Wow. Here in Texas, build a silo, buy a silo.
Right. Well, that's how they used to have. That's how they did it back in the day, man.
Yeah. I'm sure you heard of this lady, Sylvia Massey.
Yes.
And I saw a video of her from a few years ago where she went to some country in Eastern Europe and used an old cooling tower of like an old, abandoned nuclear plant.
Oh, wow.
To record a rock band.
No kidding, really?
And it sounded great. Yeah, it's on YouTube and there's somewhere.
I'll have to find that. Yeah, man.
In fact, I saw one today. I was really impressed. Where she was featuring a new product by this company called Antelope Audio. I'm sure you guys have heard about it. They
Yes,
do
yeah.
interfaces and clocking devices. And
Mm-hmm.
first, the device is really impressive, and then the song, and then also how the whole process to demo this piece of gear. The gear itself is this interface. It's a 2-unit machine that is a 64N. Well, one of the things that it has, it features 64N and 64 out analog.
Wow. No kidding.
And a 2-space machine.
No way. That many ins and out.
Yes, sir.
What is the sample rate on that puppy?
It goes up to 192.
Perfect.
And
Insane.
it has Dante. It's got AES. It's got anything you want. It's got your connections to all your digi gear. It's got it's USB connection to your machine, but everything else. Besides that, she took it to the studio in LA and hooked it up to a Neve console, and then had the drummer from the Foo Fighters, Taylor Hawkins, come in and do one of his solo songs.
Oh wow! It seems like I've seen a little snippet of something of that. Yeah,
It
where
was
he's
really cool.
smiling
I
really
watched it
big, and
today, and I was really impressed. I thought it was just going to be him banging around with a couple buddies doing chords. And at the end of the video, they did an actual song, and the song is tremendous. I mean, I'm really impressed with the dude.
wow.
It's not just like a clone of whatever he's doing with the Fighters,
Will you send me a link to that on my phone? I mean, if you
Yeah,
if you think
absolutely.
about it
Absolutely.
when you get time, if you
Yeah, I'll send it right now.
Man, I want to see that,
Yeah,
dude, because I don't
the
want to be
song
thumbing around.
itself is very exciting. I hope that they put that out soon.
So how much?
He's got a record out, but I never heard a lot of it.
Yeah, that guy's he's
This
just a
song that I
bad.
heard it's very neat. It covers a lot of ground, and I didn't expect a lot of the stuff I heard.
Wow, he's just a badass. That guy's a badass, man. The Foo
Yeah, and he
Fighters.
had, I like the guy's energy and enthusiasm, and I like to see that in people when they do music.
Yeah, just excited, right?
Yeah,
Pumped.
and he was very down to earth. He was very respectful of Sylvia and the studio where he was and everything. But then also what Sylvia did with the project, it wasn't just the Neve and the place where they were, but the things that she wanted to try, because she's well known as someone that tries new things to try them out and see what they work like.
So
and she did, for instance, she did for this project, it was like 60 channels or something, like 30 channels of the traditional stuff that you would use to record a 3-piece rock group.
Wow.
And then the rest was all super freaky weird mics.
Oh, even more cooler.
Right.
Really?
But she just did the same. She just remiked everything with all extra weird stuff.
Oh.
And then used everything at the end. And one of the things you'll notice when you first bring up the faders, when you first start listening to the video, is how transparent everything sounds.
See, I like that, man.
It sounds really good right off the bat. And then it starts building and building and building. And then I think it was 21, 24 is when the song began. So as basically the semi-fin, as finished as they got it. Sounds pretty finished to me.
That's insane.
And then you see them do, they cut the footage of them doing the guy Taylor doing the lead vocals in the control room, and still cutting back the footage of doing the drums and guitars and everything else. So it's really cool.
That is.
Sent you that link.
Well, I guarantee you she was recording at 192.
Oh, more than guaranteed, especially since you said that there's no issues with this interface where, there's no locking anything. Everything is in the DAC box.
I wonder how much
ins and outs.
I wonder how much it costs. $6,000.
Oh no, it's about 89.
89. Okay, I was off.
I'm sure it sounds it.
I was off a couple
thousand,
3,000.
with all the different. It's one of these all the newer boxes that comes with its own software, and it has an internal mixer, like all the other stuff that we know. But it also has its own background processing, so it's not taking processing from your computer.
Right.
Your computer's still just managing the
Plugins or
information
whatever. Yeah, right.
that this is managing. So
Wow.
all the processing and all the DA and everything is happening in this machine. So in terms of price, I think it's if you, I mean, right, it's really exciting, at least for me, because if you wanted to say buy something to mimic what this woman is doing in this setup, it doesn't take that much. Sure, you still need to find a nice nave, you need to find all that gear and whatever in the studio and all that. But instead of having something closer to being able to record really well, having this machine cuts down on a lot of the guesswork.
Exactly. You know, Neve's got one out, that M8 or whatever, but it's only 6. It's only 6. It's no near what? Would you say 30 something?
Neve Neve has an interface.
Yeah, and it's for it's
Really?
they've got 2 of them out. One that came out that's more for that's more driven for live sound when you want to go on the road and whatnot. Okay. And then they've got another one that they just came out with recently.
For
I did a little.
this year.
Yeah.
Oh, 2021. Okay, I'll have to
Mm-hmm.
check that out.
Yeah, man. But you know,
Well,
that
they're
piece
not known
was
for their interfaces, but well, I mean, hey, everybody gets into different things, I guess.
well, yeah. I mean, you know, I think that interface was like around 6 grand.
Mm.
You know, but this one's running around 8 or 9. You're talking about?
It's 89
Yeah, 9,000.
something. Yeah, they
Yeah.
have it at their own website at the Antelope Audio.
Oh
They
wow.
have something else that's not as big, but again, it's not 64 channels.
They have a 32 channel.
64 in, 64 out analog. Nothing has anything like that
That's
in one unit that size.
That's insane. Dennis, that's
And I mean, you
insane.
hear it. I mean, and not anything coming out of YouTube sounds really good. Where I'm like, okay, let me listen to the rest of this.
Wow.
And this, I was like, okay, this sounds really good in the first 3 seconds.
Wow, Dennis. You can bring that baby anywhere too.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it don't have to sit in your studio. You can bring it on the road with
All
you,
you
man.
need to do is make sure that the whatever place you're taking it has the analog cable to go into this interface. The back has the ins and outs are all DV25s, so you can either have your own pigtails or just make sure that wherever you go has the pigtails.
Yeah.
And the only other thing it is whatever hooks you up to your monitors or your headphones and your USB to USB cable to your computer.
So it's light pipe, it's IO too, though, correct? I mean, on the back.
That's it, because you can use the IO to use for your analog gear if you have analog gear or anything else.
See, that's the way I'd hook it all up, man.
IO is
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah. Super fast.
I mean that's how I have 2 of my Y92s. 2 of my Y92s are all just for my gear.
Oh wow.
Most of my analog gear is obviously analog, or I have it either SPDF or AES.
Yeah, well, that's all
going into the interfaces, and then within that environment, in my Pro Tools IO drop down menu, it comes across it. If it's the fireworks, it says fireworks engine 1, or the TC3000 engine 2, or the 5000 engine 1. It is what it is.
I love that IO stuff. Did you remember the old Tascam 2424?
I haven't seen one of those in a long time.
I know, but you remember it, the Tascam 2424. Okay, so I had that piece, and I actually would record on my in my DAW, okay, but light pipe it out in real time right to that 2424. It was great because they had two different sounds tracking on. It was really cool. But yeah, I mean, golly, I can't believe that piece for 9,000 would get you all those I mean, that's insane.
Well, think
man.
of what it does.
Wow.
You're cutting down on first a ton of interface headache that you don't have to deal with. And I actually think they have another one that's not as expensive that does a little less, but it's still a huge amount of functionality for something that you don't have to move.
I know.
You turn it on, you turn your computer on, you turn your console on, your monitors on, and you're ready to go.
Yeah. I know. Isn't that awesome, man?
I mean, it's made me think about it. I'm like, how am I gonna make $9,000?
Get a gig. Get a gig, man.
Right, right,
W
right.
One gig, we can get back out there on the road and make that in no time.
No, well, I'm hoping to try. I've been trying to find a way to get into more recording stuff.
I know. I know, and here's the thing, that's not slowing down, man. People
No,
are
I mean, people still motivated to write, whether they're happy or not. They're still on that's their only outlet. So let's accommodate.
mhm. Man, I watched a video the other night. I've always been about, I had a Instagram. I just changed my name to Audio Master on my Instagram channel
Mm-hmm.
because I wanted it to be the same Audio Master. But I listened to this album, Dennis, and before my move and all that stuff that went down, I had it. I forget the name of it, but it came out in the 50s, late 50s or early 60s, this album.
Mm-hmm.
And the name of this album, and I tried to Google it and find it again, but I couldn't find it. But the name of this album was called Music in Motion.
Hmm.
Okay. And this album taught me so much about freaking music coming in, moving from left to right in the stereo field. They came out with this. The engineer that was doing this technique
Mm-hmm.
way before the Led Zeppelin albums came out. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Way before. So anyway, my Instagram channel was called Music in Motion 123. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
But this album, I can't find it again, dude. But I watched a video last night about this guy, and he wasn't using hardly any compressors on anything to change the dynamics in the song, but
Okay.
he would go into the mix, Dennis, and he would strategically move the faders in real time on certain parts in and out as to riding the faders. And he just did small increments that needed it on the end of the voice line or
Yeah,
needed it. And dude, he did an A B of before the mix and then after the mix of just doing this subtle movements.
that's what you do.
Oh my gosh, Dennis.
Oh yeah, that's what it becomes. What's known as when you just when you don't do any moves. Most people just think that they get to a level, they have their blend, and that's it,
Mm-hmm.
and they rely on whatever happens in whatever instrument to dictate the dynamics of the song.
Right.
And that's really not where it ends with professional mixers.
No.
What you're describing is what it gets done to pretty much every element that's at least important in a song
Yeah.
by people like I do it also these days, obviously, since I've learned that that's something that gets done. But people like Mick it's what they spend. That's what people pay these guys what they get paid.
Mm-hmm.
To do that thing accurately to everything.
Mm-hmm. And he would actually do the real time automation where it shows the curves and whatnot. And then if it wasn't right, he go, oh, it's a little too. I'll cut it back to that 10%.
You go back, yeah. And when I started working with Mick, I remember watching this guy doing this, on the same the same word, the same phrase. Sometimes he would go 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 times to get it right.
Mm-hmm.
And I couldn't hear what he was doing.
Mm-hmm.
And it took me a long time to figure out what he was doing. And he was just rewriting the automation to just sound just right. And then after a while, you can actually hear what he was doing.
Oh, and doesn't it sound beautiful? Oh my
Mm-hmm.
gosh, dude. I got look. I was telling. I'm fixing to lay some piano tracks down. I've been rehearsing a few of my tunes, and I'm fixing
Mm-hmm.
to do some tracking, and I can't wait. I'll probably send you some stems to play with. Who knows, man?
Yeah, please do.
But I'm definitely gonna. I just been itching and itching. I've been, concentrating on my YouTube videos and whatnot, and
Mm-hmm.
so. But I am at the point now where I need to do some tracking, and my son's coming in next week,
Oh,
Dennis.
nice.
And I said, "You play engineer because he knows how to work all this stuff. You play engineer, man, and let me just concentrate on the vibe, okay?"
There you go.
And I'm gonna track. I'm gonna track it, and I'm gonna do a scratch take probably on this RE20 right here. Okay.
Yeah, do all the good ones. Use all the good mics.
But what I was going to say, Mr. Product Review just wrote in. He says, "Hey, bro," he says, "what mic do you prefer, the U47 or the M49?" He's asking you that, Mr.
Hmm.
He's asking you.
Well, I would say, I mean, it really depends on the type of recording that you want to use. Um, I would say more of a workhorse would be the 47.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
The 49, I would use for stuff that really requires um, more of a blend of not just the source, but it needs for the background also to be really pretty
Right.
when you're recording. That said, obviously I would take either or.
Yeah. Because both are really just top notch, right?
Absolutely, yeah.
Wow.
I mean, I told you this story before, where years ago, my friend Rob Fraboni um, lent me a Neumann SM2, and as you know, that's one of the I think it was the very first dual diaphragm stereo tube microphone.
Mm-hmm.
And not only was it, obviously thoroughly, thrown back at the fact that this guy allowed me to borrow that thing, but when I got to recording with it, I found that it sounded horrible in my house.
Wow. Oh yeah, yeah,
And
yeah, yeah,
and
yeah.
remember I told you that
Yes, you
it
did.
sounded horrible, and I was like, why does it sound so bad? And I was like, I realized that one, this is my kitchen, and it sounded like a kitchen. It's not a studio. The walls are kind of like this, cheap material, and it sounded that way. I mean, the microphone was so good, you can almost hear the color of the walls.
Right.
So and I had to I wanted to use it, and I used it on a track, and I had to hide it really well, EQ it really hard to kind of hide the room itself. The source sounded good,
Mm-hmm.
but the walls just was, I was like, oh, it sounds horrible. It made a jangly guitar sound, really not very nice
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So it brought out the worst of things instead of the
on
best of things.
everything. Yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
You know how an Epiphone or an Epiphone guitar, a Gibson guitar, can sound jangly?
Mm-hmm.
It made it sound really jangly.
Wow. So changing the microphone possibly to a cheap microphone solved everything.
Yeah, well, in that case, I just buried in the back and used something else to kind of not make it so obvious.
Mm-hmm.
But I still wanted to keep it there because what I did use did work out.
Right. Right. Wow. I know, man. It's and that's one of those things that goes back to, you and I did that other video about, using your ears and listening.
Mm-hmm.
You might have a $10,000-$15,000 microphone, but if it's not for the right person, it's not for the right person, man.
Yeah, it doesn't make a difference. I tell you, when I borrowed my buddy's, my friend was working for Blue Microphone. He was one of their reps, and he loaned me the whole kit with that big blue thing, the bottle,
Mm-hmm.
and it had the briefcase, it had the power supply, and it had all the capsules. And I mean, it sounded fine. It sounded great, and it was really clear. But all I did with it was, my kid saying, I think singing "Old MacDonald." It sounded really good.
Right. Oh, that's funny, man. That's awesome, man. I
Yeah,
kn-
yeah.
I know, man. Those, I don't know, but to answer your question, Mister Product Review, the U47, and that'd probably be my pick too because it's you can use it probably on a little bit more things, and but they're both excellent microphones, man. I mean,
Exactly.
if somebody was going to give me one, I trust me, I wouldn't be picky.
Nope.
I'd take whatever one.
It wouldn't take me very long to answer.
No. That's funny, man. Well, thank you for writing in, Mr. Product Review. We appreciate that, man. Great question, man. But yeah, there are a lot of great microphones out there. But you know what? I'm gonna check out that link you sent me on my phone a while ago because you got me fired up and to wanting to look at that inverter, man. I'm just, you know, interface. I'm just stoked about checking
Yeah,
that
check
out.
it out. I mean, it's I mean a very telling demo. Not because the music's great, then you get to see and hear what a lot of these old mics do, and she gives you a little tour what she's using.
Mm-hmm.
And actually, one of the ones she uses is one of your EV shotgun mics.
Oh, really? The 642?
She uses one of them. She uses one of those.
No way.
Yeah. She has
Dude.
one in there.
Oh, I love now you really got me stoked about hey, I wanted to I've told you before, but that mic, man, dude. You know what? I don't use it like I need to use it.
You need to use it more.
I
You're gonna
need
be like, man, I needed to be using this a long time ago.
dude, it sounds so good. And oh my gosh, Dennis. It really, really does, man. It really sounds good. One day I just did a acoustic, me sitting about 5 or 6 feet from it. I pointed it right at the 12th fret and kind of aimed my guitar and tried to stay still and just so that I was right there the whole time. But I did a take with it, man, with just the guitar, blew my mind. Then I did another take with just the guitar and me singing some stuff to it. And the blend, I mean, it was like, did I sing this? Did I do 2 different tracks? No, man. Just the blend and the how everything just, it was like it had its own compression or whatever in it built in. I don't know. Just sounds so realistic, man.
Yeah, some have their own character. That's what they call. That's what they call coloration.
God, I love that mic, man. I need to put it to use more, right? But she was using one. She was using the 642, huh?
I think so.
Wow.
It's one of the ones she described as having. Again, it was one of 60. I think she said she had an additional 60 something channels that she remiked everything again with, just to have different things to put in.
Oh, right. Yeah, you talk about layering some textures and I like to say different herbs to the mix.
Yeah, I mean she's known for that sort of thing, and then again she kind of bought into that. There's this gentleman in the Midwest that she became friends with who had this gigantic microphone museum collection / thing, and the guy kind of, I think, got really sick and he passed, and she found somebody to help her out and bought the whole thing.
And you know what?
And she uses a lot of them.
That's what I was going to say. That's what makes this story right here amazing is she uses them.
And she goes over into the extent to one of the mics that she last uses on Taylor before the actual song gets going is an old spy mic that is built into a wristwatch.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Really?
And she puts it on them, and she's like, "Yeah, don't forget the spy mic. You gotta wear that when you're playing." And they don't show exactly what it does, but she does cue it up, and it's just like a really tinny sound. It's not really full or anything, but I'm sure it got used somehow.
Wow, man. Wow. And so when did she do this recording? It's just recent, huh?
I think that was earlier today.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's one of the new things for NAM.
Okay, that's yeah, because it seems like I seen I don't know, was it an ad that I seen this on or whatever, but I seen this.
Probably, because it was launched either today or yesterday.
Wow. That's amazing, man. So is that going to take place? Is NAM going to take place?
It's virtual going on right now.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's not a place where you can actually go and check everything out.
No, right? Everyone's just kind of holding stuff on their, YouTube channels live or through Zoom or whatnot.
Right.
But it's happening. I mean, people are, models are being introduced. All the reviewers are showing all the new stuff that they're all getting in their mailboxes.
Oh man, $9,000. That's not a bad gig, man.
Yeah, but it's if I had it, I would have spent it right now.
I'm just
considering what it does.
I know.
You don't even have to program anything; it's just plug and play.
I know. I know, man. If you had
Sure,
that,
there's
would you?
some minimal stuff, but you don't have to clock it to anything. It
It's
clocks everything else.
right, right, right. It syncs it all up. So would you take that on the road with you or no?
Um, if I had to bring like external, like effects and stuff like that, I would definitely consider it
Yeah.
if I had to. But again, one of the things to do out on the road is just basically, know how to manage your resources. Um, if you don't have to get out of the environment of a console, why do it?
Right.
I still haven't had to, though. With one of my clients, I wish I had the opportunity to. I wish there was a budget, and it's not something that we don't have. We don't try to do. Obviously, depending on the event, we try to get away with more of the gear that we have on our tech rider. But
Right.
for the most part, it's not easy, but doable.
Right.
And most of the better mixing consoles available right now.
Right, 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 right. But if you
The
had,
older Yamaha desks are starting to kind of show their age a little bit.
mm-hmm, in the
On the
faders and
newer, on their newer, no, not just the faders. It's just the ability of to have. I need for some of my acts. I need just on the lead vocal 2 or 3 reverbs and a couple of delays.
mm-hmm,
Just because that's what it takes.
right.
And then that varies from song to song and varies from instrument to instrument. The drum set can have anywhere from 3 to 4 different effects alone,
Mm-hmm.
on top of compressors or gates. I don't use gates a lot. I hate using gates unless I really have to.
Mm-hmm.
Windy days and things like that.
Right.
But again, it's like a video game. It's managing your bullets.
Mm-hmm.
Consoles can crash just like anything else.
Yeah, but it'd be nice to have that piece, man. Because then you can kind of. I mean, couldn't you like take on things where, okay, we're using this and we're using this and this, and because of this, this is what I'm gonna give you when the concert's over. So you're kind of like giving the artist something extra to be
Yeah,
part of
yeah,
the
absolutely.
budget.
But the thing that unit, the fact that it has, I wouldn't use it in that sense. I would use the analog I/O for effects.
Okay.
To have my rack of effects. Because then from my end, that can go into my environment on the console and anywhere I need it to go.
Wow. Wow.
Then I can also use it to do what in live sound is known as a virtual sound check, which basically means to say you had the show from the night before I recorded, and it allows me to, without too much trouble, tune the PA the next day at a different place with the sound that I recorded the night before.
Nice.
I play it through my equipment, I play it through the PA, and I just adjust the different pieces of the equipment to that.
Right.
And for a long time, that was extremely difficult to do.
Wow. Yeah. Right. 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 But it's nice to be able to have all your external pieces wired right in. Huh.
Right, but at the same time, I can still multi-track no problem using Dante.
Mm-hmm. Send that somewhere else. That's where
Yeah,
you that.
because and I don't even need that for recording if I'm using most of the better desks.
Mm-hmm.
The SSL has Dante if you request it. Yamaha has Dante built in, and it sounds wonderful. The newer consoles handle high resolution like a charm. And even the old desk, that's the CL5, which is what, it's kind of like the 57 of consoles for live sound right now. Does multi-track at 48K really nicely.
All right, 48K ain't bad.
Yeah, all you need is one Ethernet cable and a piece of software on your laptop, and you're good to go.
Wow. Wow. That's cool, man. I know 48K sounds good, man. I mean 48.
Yeah, and then you just you're slave to the quality of the Yamaha preamps, but they sound fine.
Right.
And again, it's how what you do with them after the fact, and how the care that you take to ingest your material.
Exactly. Exactly.
If you're using it to record, someone who isn't very good, and you're using crappy mics and shitty cables and everything's cutting out. Don't expect magic.
Right. No, there ain't nothing you can do with
As
it.
with anything.
Right. Right. Ain't nothing you can, if it's coming in bad, you ain't nothing you can do with it, man. If things are clipping and all that other stuff, man. Wow.
Exactly.
Wow. But you know what? Hey, a lot of these bands, man, once you set them up and everything, and they're playing live, and they're actually looking at one another, or have gotten it down so good to where they're using their own dynamics in the playing, and you're not clipping on your end, you'll get some beautiful sounding stuff.
Well, there's one thing you'll notice about this particular interface thing that was very taken aback immediately. Not just the sound quality, but the headroom. And the fact that he's playing, pretty heavy music with a lot of drums, and it still sounds pretty wide open. You can hear the room, you can hear everything. It's not fatiguing to hear. It doesn't sound like there's compression at all. It sounds really open. I was like, wow, okay. It's been a while since I heard my monitor sound like this.
Oh man, dude, you got me pumped, dude. I'm gonna watch this.
I love it. And then share it with everybody. They're gonna really enjoy that. And I mean, that's just I think it's just a tribute to what that gear can do and what their products can do.
Yeah.
I've been looking at their gear for a while, and I'm now seriously considering it.
Dude, but that company's been out forever, haven't they?
Yeah, they have, but they're growing better and better and better. In fact, she also sell the overhead mic she's using is their own what's it called? Their what's the term that they use for
overhead?
Yeah, she's using these overheads that they make, but they're for
ambient noise, or I mean, what?
No, not for ambient. They use kind of like modeling mics.
Okay, right.
So they have a little program that using their mics, you can choose from a little menu. It says, okay, this microphone is going to sound like a C12.
Right.
Or now it's going to sound like a 57.
I know what you're. Yeah. I've seen that.
So she chose those over an old AKG C24.
No way, really? The modeling mic?
Yeah.
Wow, that's interesting.
So you'll see that in there. Watch the whole video and goes through the whole thing. It's great.
That's very interesting. That she did, that she would choose the modeling mic over the real deal.
Well, she said it sounded that good.
Wow.
Well,
I'll trust her. No kidding about that.
And she's not, she's not endorsing anybody in particular. So
right. I like that, man. I like that. And who else would come out with it? I mean, because that modeling mic has been around a few years.
Slate has one too.
Well, the one that I'm thinking of is Slate.
But I can't take that guy's voice. It's weird.
Okay.
He sounds like a robot. And not in a good way.
Right.
Like he sounds like he plugged himself
up.
Like he's a plug-in.
Oh, wow.
I'm sure I've seen him at AES before, but even in person, he just looks like a max headroom or something.
That Slate piece, man, that supposed to emulate all these different mics. What was it I watched on that? And then I was thinking
a lot of people like it.
Yeah, and then I was thinking to myself, man, I wonder if it's really close. That this emulation thing, they've gotten so close to all this. It's just insane.
I'm sure they all do, but again, if you have the option of having different mics,
right?
Right. They're not cheap. They're like $1,600 a piece or something like that for just the mic itself, and I think I'm hoping that it comes with the software.
Right.
But then what could have you gotten instead of it?
Exactly.
That was an actual mic that you're not going to get, like what happens if, Slade gets accused of I don't know,
whatever. Right.
stealing a balloon next year, and he goes to jail.
I know, but
And and he can't, you can't upgrade your microphone anymore.
exactly. So here's the thing. Yeah,
It
exactly.
won't work.
And it won't work no more. That's what's so good about plug in things, man. Hard wire things, you know what I mean? So my I told you about what happened to my brother's car, huh? So did I tell you that story?
I don't know. I
He
don't think
he
so.
he gets in it and he starts it up. Okay. The car's fairly new, maybe two it's a Nissan. It starts it up and he can't kill it. Remember I told you
What?
this. Yeah,
No.
yeah,
You
yeah.
don't hear that.
Okay, so he gets in and he starts it up, and it's one of those type where you I think you push the button. You have to have your foot on the brake, and then you put
Oh, okay.
and then you push the button.
My Nissan, my old Nissan used to do that. You have to kind of like step on the brake or turn the wheel at the same time or something like that.
Yeah, and then once your foot's on the brake, then the ready button, then you push it and then you let off and it starts the car. Well, anyway, he couldn't turn the car off. Okay, the car wouldn't shut off. And the only way we could get the car to shut off was take the negative post off the battery, and the car shut off. Well, he takes it down there to the Nissan people and stays the whole day. He needed his car and he wasn't going to go nowhere. I said, "Well, I'll pick it. No, I want to stay here. I want to see what's going to go on." He literally stayed there all day long, Dennis. Okay. The main guy, they had several of their technicians working. They put the chip in to see, to see where the problem was. None of the chip was saying once they plugged it in to do the analysis on what's wrong, was saying that there wasn't anything wrong.
Yeah, and they'll tell you that with a straight face too.
Yet no, the chip was telling the technicians there's nothing wrong with this car, but yet the car would not shut off. So at the end of the day, the guy out there says, "Man, I've seen a lot of things in my time, but I've never seen this happen." But that just goes to show you, man, having the real deal, the motor cars. Like I might have a little tracker. I have a '95 tracker that I love. By the way, I love this car, and it's got the old distributor cap in it where you got to turn it. It's got points on the inside of it and all that stuff. These newer cars, man, they don't have any of that.
No, it's just like a chip.
Yeah, it's a chip. All right, man. Well, Dennis, thank you so much for joining in tonight, man. As always, it is a
Man, you
pleasure.
should put that link in there so everybody can watch what and hear what this thing does. It's a great video. The song is incredible. I'm a big fan of this guy now,
Okay.
and yeah, can't wait to hear this song out. And I went to Spotify to look for it, and it's not there yet, but it says in the description what it is.
Wow.
But yeah, it's a great tune. The dude, you can tell he's a real musician, real deal. He's not just a crazy drummer and Foo Fighter copycat.
Oh,
He's got his own thing.
Yeah, I bet I will. I'll put the link in the description down there below where people can click on it, man. But thank you so much, Dennis. As always, man. I always love to
we'll do it again.
We'll do it again. We'll do it again, man. Thank you guys tonight for joining in, and join in again tomorrow night at 7 o'clock, and we will see you again.
See you soon.
Okay. Bye bye.